Good afternoon, everyone. I am Rufus Bill, and welcome to another edition of Talking To. And Talking To is a weekly program, broadcast, podcast, streaming that deals with three unique perspectives from three unique individuals, and we deal with human interests. Whatever is an interest to you, or maybe to someone that you know, or maybe you've heard of some of the things that we've discussed that kind of get your attention. That's what we talk about. There are no limits to our conversation, and we love just coming to you every Sunday, 7 o'clock p.m. As you're getting ready to go into your work week, your Monday work week, you are able to just kind of get knowledge and understanding and education about what's possibly going on in and around the Detroit community, as well as things that are going around the world that are very important in today's times and today's society. And we're going to move it right along and get with our host today, Justin Hearn. Good afternoon, sir. Try that again, Justin Hearn.
What? My mic was muted for some reason. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Oh man, I am fantastic. I'm doing well. Glad to be alive, man. Glad, how the old folks say, I'm glad to be seen and not viewed. That's for sure.
Always.
Always. Even though we are being viewed online right now.
Right.
Okay, I guess. Okay, but I'm
We're not
seeing by
being viewed
you.
in that vertical position.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
Joanne Joseph Fuller, how are you today? I got everybody is mute. Okay, well, I think we're good now. You good, Joanne? Oh, wait. Rufus is doing something over here. Can you hear me, Joanne? How about now?
Oh.
Okay. Justin, it's my fault. Joanne,
Okay.
can you hear us, Joanne? I don't know if she can hear us. Joanne, she can see
She right. She can see. She's
us.
not. She's not frozen.
She's wait now, Rufus. Is that me? No. Okay.
So
Let's try
okay. Tell
now.
tell her to make sure her mic is not muted. No, we can't hear you. So can you see? Make sure your mic
Oh,
is Just go out and come back in.
she's
That
gonna
might
go out
help.
and come back in. All right. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that I'm not doing extra on my end with those buttons.
Okay.
Justin, I don't know what the weather is today, but it seems awfully warm to me.
Yeah. And I hear that next week we're gonna be in the 90s.
Yes, like
So
all week.
yeah. So that's it's like yeah. I'm okay with that. I'm
Hmm.
ready for summer. Summer, I want to get my kids to the pool and start teaching them how to swim. So I'm happy for that. Definitely.
All
You're
right.
just never satisfied in Michigan. It's hot, it's too hot, it's cold, it's too cold, and we don't have much of a fall or much of a spring
A
where there's
spring.
where there's just easygoing temperatures. You know what I mean? It's just go from one extreme to the next extreme.
You never lie. That's the comments my father used to say about you, Rufus. You from one extreme to the other. Joanne Joseph, how are you today?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm great. I'm telling you. It's such a beautiful day. I was just
It
singing that song.
is.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
That is for sure.
Hmm.
I
I
know
have
that
two
is for
grandchildren
sure.
around me today, so this weekend, so it's been like kitty stuff all weekend.
All weekend long. That's all right.
Uh,
That is all right.
so,
I don't know. I'm over here having some.
uh-oh,
He let his look. He done
he let
cut
stuff go.
himself off. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be back. But
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you knew this or whatever, but so I had to work event Friday and Saturday, and hey, Rufus, you're back.
I'm back.
Okay, I was telling Joanne
Uh-huh.
about I like my job was like, hey, we want you to go to this rodeo, and everything, and it's Friday and Saturday, and I was like, rodeo. It's like, why are we doing the recruiting event at the rodeo? I'm like, okay, all right, cool. But I get to this rodeo, and it's a
Uh-huh.
black rodeo.
Oh,
I love
with the
it.
black
Yeah,
cowboys and all that.
it
I love it.
was something to see. It was Friday. I think today is the last day. It was Friday and Saturday for sure. At the Wayne County State Fairgrounds, which is like Belleville Road in 94.
Okay.
But yeah, man, to see those cowboys riding a horse and jumping off a horse and tackling a bull
A
to the ground.
bull.
I was just like, man, this is nuts, yo. It was wild. But more, I was surprised to see so many African Americans,
Hmm.
in the cowgirl attire,
Okay.
taking part. They had vendors out there. They had the barbecue smoking and stuff like that. I mean, it was a really cool event. I actually look forward to maybe doing like a little date night next year to that because it's actually pretty. The rodeo is pretty entertaining. Like I would have never thought that it was
Okay.
entertaining. I would have never went there by myself.
Hmm.
But
Unless
I had
forced.
yeah, yeah, for
Well,
sure.
you know,
But I love it. I love it.
black people are used to tackling bull.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
That was
sir.
a good one. That was a good
Yeah. Yes, sir.
one. Hey.
1 point for me.
Right.
But
Yes. That that was a good
just
smacker. Okay.
Joanne, I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw Justin and he was with someone and I couldn't hear what they were saying. I was like, "What is Justin doing?" And as I zeroed in on it and brought up the sound, I heard Justin saying, "Yes, I'm Officer Hearn," and I said, we talk about him being involved with law enforcement, but rarely do we ever say Officer Hearn, and it sounds so like, well, he is an officer.
Yes, he is. Yes,
Yeah.
he is.
He has the power in his hand to say yay and nay. Come with me, or I'm letting you go.
We appreciate your service.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
so
Thank
how
y'all.
did the recruitment go?
Recruitment this week have been fun, man, and
Uh-huh.
banging too. We hit a stride this week, and we have some goals. We try to bring in at least 100 applicants a week, and last time I checked, maybe like Friday, we were like 85, 90, somewhere in between there. So with
Okay.
today, and I didn't work. Well, I worked sometime today, a little time. We started a faith-based initiative to go inside the churches and to set up and to offer all the employment opportunities. So I did my church today. So I worked a little bit today. But if anybody is out there
Okay.
watching and they would like the Detroit Police Department to come in and set up a table at your house of worship, we can definitely do that and offer you all the employment opportunities. We do hire specifically for police officers. However,
Hmm.
we can forward your information if you're interested in some of the non-sworn or civilian jobs like 911 dispatch, 911 call
Hmm.
takers. We hire social
Awesome.
workers, tow truck drivers,
Really?
non-emergency calls. Yeah, we like pretty much anything you can do in regular life, you can do inside the police department. So, yep. So if somebody wants to set that up, put something in the comments. Let me know. I'll give you guys my contact information, and yeah, we can rock and roll.
Awesome. That's great.
That is good. How
Yeah.
old is too old?
There's no age. There's no age.
No
No age.
age?
No age.
Really?
As
No
long
age
as you can, we have
discrimination.
nope. As long as we have a M codes agility test that consists of push-ups, sit-ups, vertical jump, and running. And then we have a reading and writing test. As long as you can pass those tests, it doesn't matter if you're 70 or 19. You can
Okay.
go into our academy. Now you still got to pass the academy.
Wow.
You still got to pass the academy and go
Okay.
through those 26 weeks or 6 months of training and everything like that. But no experience is required. So it doesn't matter how young or how old you is. We don't. The less you know is actually the better for us.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
I talked to a friend of mine, Joanne, who's a pastor, and I
Mm-hmm.
was telling him that I knew someone that needed mentorship, um, who was thinking or who had said who was called, and he needed to get under some, to get with somebody, Justin. And so,
Okay.
and I'm trying to sell my friend to my friend. I said he's been involved in church and he's a deacon and scripture based. He's been active in Sunday school and blah blah blah. He said, he said I'd rather have someone with less experience that you are able to train and to lead and direct, because sometimes people that have that experience have their own preconceived notions of what they think is
Exactly.
how it should go. So I can definitely understand
That's
with
true.
you say that the less experience in terms of knowledge
Hmm.
you all can really work with, and to be able
Yeah.
to form and fashion an individual.
Or the knowledge they
Yeah.
think they have, because then you have to
Right.
deprogram
Then you
to
got to
Right.
right
reprogram.
to
Hmm.
reprogram,
Mm-hmm.
and that
Mm-hmm.
that takes work. Yeah, even when it come, and this is a proven fact. Every now and again in a class of recruits, you may have somebody who was a former who already knew how to shoot win top shot, but 9 out of 10 times the person that wins top shot is the
Hmm.
person who's never shot before.
Really?
Yep, because when you shoot on your own, or however you learn how to shoot, some people learn how to shoot professionally, but you create your own habits of how you do
Right.
stuff.
Hmm.
And that could be bad, it could be good, but even it's like, anything else. You could be good at something, but there's always room for improvement. But
Hmm.
somebody who don't know nothing, who never shot a gun, they're gonna do it exactly how I tell them to do it. And because
Okay.
of that, they're not gonna have any bad habits that you may
Right.
have to condition your mind not to do whatever. And it holds to be true that top shot usually goes to somebody who's never shot before.
Wow.
So you didn't
Wow.
learn the proper
Interesting.
protocol. Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
From time to time, and I go and take piano lessons, and I never tell the teacher that I play. I did one time, and he put me on the spot. He was like, "Well, let me hear you," and he said, "Oh." And needless to say, he didn't take me on as a student. And needless to say, I still don't know what that "oh" actually meant. Oh, that was good, or you have formed some bad habits. Because Joanne, you can display. And Justin, you play. You can display and you draw fingers and think you're really doing something, and it's
That's
like,
true.
cut.
Yeah, till
Same thing
this
with
day.
singing. Same thing
Same
with
Yep.
thing with
singing.
singing.
till
Mm-hmm.
till till this day, that I still have that issue, because in my earlier playing I had already created, before Rufus got a hold of me. I have already created how I play. So
Okay,
I play sideways like this. I don't And most people play the piano like this, where they
right.
use all of these fingers. No, I'm more so use these three. Like I
Let's
don't
see
use
what.
my pinky barely, never really.
Wow.
So the way that I
Wow.
finger my chords are just like, people like, why you just do it like this? I'm like, I can't do it like that, because I had
Deprogram
already
to
I know.
reprogram.
now
Right, deprogram,
right.
reprogram.
Now, I did learn my scales that way though.
Hmm.
So I can play all of my scales in every key the right and proper way. But if you tell me to play a C major chord, I'm gonna use my pinky, my pointing finger, and my middle finger.
Wow.
I'm gonna play it like this. I'm
So
not
what
gonna
is that,
play it
Joe?
like
That's
this.
interesting.
Yep,
Okay.
that's how I learned.
Isn't that interesting? That was one,
That means you got some
two.
long fingers.
Yes, he
Yep.
does. It make him a great player.
Right. So
Uh-huh.
I'll
Got some
use the
long
thumb,
fingers.
the pointing finger, and my
The
middle
middle
finger
finger.
to do a C major chord.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I play my bass. I will play my bass with my thumb and not with my pinky.
You just
Right.
don't
So
like that number 5.
I don't know, like, that's just the way that
That
nobody.
you just formed that habit. Yeah. Understandably so. And
Wow.
it's funny, especially Joanne, when you try to teach that pattern 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1 3 2 1
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
nobody never.
Crossing
I
that,
didn't
look,
learn that.
crossing
I
that third
wasn't.
over and
finger
under.
over. Yeah, over to that third finger, over and
Yep.
under.
Hmm.
Yep.
And that's
Mm-hmm.
that's the most challenging function for a beginner or for a player with experience sometimes is to get that under, know when to cross under and know when to cross over. It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of all that, you can learn all that and then see another portion in another setting that particular pattern does not apply. You have to use a different kind of finger. So it's all interesting. Justin,
Yeah.
we have a great show planned today, and Joanne, and the
Yes.
time is 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. But before you take the helm, Justin, I saw Joanne Tosin Fuller yesterday.
Oh, look at that cup. Did you see that cup?
What was her cup? Where? Oh no, she didn't just slide that up there.
Okay, she didn't slid it up. Look, I want one of those. Look.
Wait, I got all of your stuff here. And when I got ready to mail yours this week, I said, what did I do with Justin's address?
Oh,
okay.
I'll resend you my address.
Just had to.
Wait, she broke it on the end.
Right, she rubbed it all the way in. Okay.
You see how smooth she did that?
She had the pinky up and everything.
Right. But I visited my childhood church and saw Joanne and Justin. When I tell you she had it together from the head to the toe. I said, Sister Fuller. Now, I was really about to carry on, and I said, just stop, Rufus.
You in church.
Before you upset these people.
Oh, you are so kind.
You were sharp, huh?
Oh, baby.
She was all the way
you just
sharp.
don't know how she had that thing going on. I said, now, this woman here know what she doing.
What's our show about today?
Oh, God.
I said, well, I was way underdressed. But no, we had a good time seeing each other yesterday.
Yes.
We're have a very special guest today, and Justin, tell our people who we have and what's going to go on.
Okay, so today's episode is entitled, or we're talking about buying back the block, right? That's a term that has been commercialized by a lot of progressive Black people, and talking about buying back their neighborhood. Don't leave, don't run to the suburbs, but buy that house that's on the corner and fix it up, rent it out or sell it. And today I thought that it's so many opportunities for people to create, streams of income, or just to get out of that mortgage and just own your own home and create some leverage, create some equity in your finances by not, stressing out to pay your mortgage and all that stuff. So I wanted to bring somebody on the show that's been doing that, that's been buying back the block. He's a good brother of mine, my brother, my friend. He actually stood with me in my wedding. I've been knowing this guy for a long time. Actually, I met him through Peace and Goodwill.
Really?
Do you remember Mother McGhee?
Yes.
This is her grandson.
Oh,
yep.
great.
So I want to welcome my brother, my friend, none other than Calvin McGhee. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing? Hello, everybody.
Hello, Calvin. How you doing today?
Thank you, Justin.
Look at him. Look at all studious.
Hey,
yeah. Look at all the studious stuff. Okay.
Let me adjust him real quick. I apologize. I had to adjust him one time.
Yep.
Yeah.
How you doing
Justin,
today, man?
I wear glasses now, so Justin hasn't seen me with glasses before. So this is
okay. Old. You got the 4 eyes going on. Okay.
No, I had to pick out something nice. They call me Deacon at work, so now. So. You got a message today? I say y'all need to sit down somewhere.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you for taking time to join us today. I know you, you're busy. You got the wife and the kids and everything, so definitely thank you for joining us.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, man, you've been buying back the block, for sure. And tell everybody your YouTube channel so they can go check you out, because you post a lot of stuff on there.
Yeah, so you can go to YouTube and type in Calvin space M, and that's my channel's name, Calvin M. Or if you type in how to buy a house in Detroit, I think I'm the number one YouTuber when it comes to real estate in Detroit. Because I think like anything you type in with Detroit and houses, I should pop up. So
Awesome.
I started back in 2016. It was it
Mm-hmm.
2016. I bought my first house in 2016 August. Um, but yeah, I don't know if you want me to go into that, or you guys had
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about first let's talk about how to, if people want to buy back the block, if there's a house on their corner, like let's walk us through that process of buying those land bank houses, and then we could talk about your rehab and all of that. But let's start there. Okay. How do we buy back the block, man?
Okay, well, excuse me. So typically what I have done is if you see a vacant house in Detroit, um, you can look how I what I my strategy was is to figure out who owns the property. So I would go onto the Wayne County Treasury's website and go on click the tab where it's pay taxes, how you would pay your Detroit taxes, and it always have the taxpayer's name there. So if
Okay.
by you typing in and just got to type in the street name and the number and hit enter, and it'll show you if somebody really owns it or if the city of Detroit owns it. So if you
Okay.
see Detroit Land Bank Authority, then it's in the city owns it, right?
Okay.
And you can contact the Detroit Land Bank, or you can go to their website, buildingdetroit.org, and you can search for that property and see if it's in their inventory, like available for sale. And if it's not, which majority of the properties, all the properties that I wanted wasn't listed on their website, I will call and put in an inquiry. So what they would do is once they get that inquiry, they get their lawyers and everything on on it to acquire the property to the point where they can resell it. So if a lot of the titles have to go through I forgot what they call it, but basically put it like this: if your home was foreclosed on and like no one has like they have to make sure that you was properly notified that the property was foreclosed on, and they have to
Mm-hmm.
a legal thing they can't just sell it, even though
Yeah.
if you did foreclose on it. Uh,
Okay. So if I'm hearing you right, step one is to go find a house. And once
yeah,
you find that house, you say, I want to buy this house. Then you need to go to the Wayne County Treasurer's website, look up that address, the name and the street number, and find out who owns it. If the
right.
city of Detroit owns it, good. You go ahead, you contact the land bank, and you tell the land bank, hey, I want to buy this house at so and so, so and so. Now
Right.
from there, what's the next step from there? After
The,
you
the
go,
next step is that depending on it, it depends on the condition, where the property is, as far as the title. In the title, they have to make sure that there's no liens on the property or anything like that. So, say if somebody didn't pay for a roof maybe 10 years ago and it's a lien on the property or whatever, they have to make sure all that's clear, before they can sell it, because you can't
Mhm,
sell it if it's a lien on the property. So, they make sure they get a warranty deed. The
mhm,
same as when you get a house. Now, um, usually you can pay for that warranty deed, but a lot of the properties they went on ahead and added it into the closing costs. But when they first started, you didn't have to pay for the warranty deed, and you could just buy it and then just wing it. If some if something pops up, it's on you. But
mhm,
they cleaned up the process a lot. They use Amrock as a closing company, title company. Um,
mhm,
so now when you do that inquiry for that property may not be available for sale for another 6 months. It
mhm.
just depends. Now I can tell you this: the land bank lawyers do work fast, because if it's
Okay.
some, they whoever they got on there, they put a paper on that door, and next it's up. So I can
Okay.
say they do move fast. Now I have ran into certain situations where I was waiting almost a year, and then next it was up for sale, and I wasn't even notified. But
Mhm.
Okay.
um, but for the most part, a lot of stuff has gotten purchased, in that short amount of time. Because back in 2016, when I was looking up the land bank and going on there, you had houses that was in the Boston Edison district that was going for like $10,000 when
Yeah.
no work being done to it. That same $10,000 house is worth $350,000 with no work done to it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I knew what I knew then, I mean, no, now it'd have been a different story. I would have went on ahead and just bought the 10,000 janky house in Boston
Right.
district that didn't have no floor on the second floor. You could just see the second floor from the first floor. I would have just like, hey, we get it when we get it. Just get one room ready in the bathroom. We wing it.
Now,
But
now I'm glad you brought that up, because from my understanding, if you go and purchase these land bank homes, there are certain milestones, if I'm correct, that you
yeah,
have to meet
compliance.
in a certain amount of time. So what are those restrictions? Okay, I can go buy a house, but you just can't buy a house and sit on it and wait to try to sell it, but you got to actually get it going. And so talk about that
Yeah.
process and how that works and what those requirements are.
Okay, so once you purchase your property, once you own an auction, so we just gonna talk for ours. If you found the house, and it's two stages: either own it now or auction properties. Say if whichever one you win the bid. After you win the bid, they set up a closing at 30 days after you win the bid. After you win that bid, and then you go through what is called compliance. Now, compliance typically is for 6 months. Now, you may see on the
Okay.
website where it says 6 to 9 months. 9 months was for those Boston Edison district homes, but they ain't got no more of those. So it's 6 month compliance. So when your first 15 days, you have to clear off 4 sides of the property, secure the property. If there's any debris or anything around the property, you have to clear all that out in your first 15 days. On top of that, you have to schedule an appointment with the BC department, Building and Safety Department, which you have to get an inspection done, which costs right now for a single family home is like $300, if I'm not mistaken. It's like, it's $300 for a single family home. Now, what that inspection does is the inspector from the city of Detroit comes in, looks at everything at the house, and he just documents. It's like, hey, you need basically full renovation, which is you need to pull permits for plumbing, electricity, and HVAC, which is heating and cooling. Um, and typically, every house that is purchased from the land bank fails this inspection. And a lot of people get concerned, like, "Oh, I failed the inspection," because they may have had some work done before that guy got there, and they're like, "Well, the electrical's brand new, but if you didn't pull a permit, it doesn't matter." So you have to have. So that guy comes in there to say you got to pull permits for everything, right? So that's around your first like 30-day mark, and then from there, every 30 days you have to send an update. So they expect for you to be getting this property up to getting secure and ready. Now they have changed this process about 3 times so far. So as of right now, all they care about is you getting all your windows and doors in, your furnace, hot water tank, a functioning bathroom with only a toilet and sink, functioning kitchen, which will be a functioning sink, the sink
Yeah.
base, whatever, um, and a stove or microwave, a big refrigerator or mini refrigerator, whichever one, and that's for your kitchen, and you achieve compliance. You know, so,
Mm.
so that which is really good because they was really funny acting over the years. So they relaxed a lot of things. So one
Yeah.
of the things. Go ahead.
So what I'm hearing is basically you gotta if first 15 days you gotta clean up any debris. So that means if it's trash, if the weeds are high or overgrown, you gotta get all that cleaned up within the first
Yep.
15 days.
Blight.
Then it's yep, the blight. Then the inspector is gonna come out, and then every 30 days you have to do a update and send an update. But as long as you get a functioning bathroom, being a toilet and a sink, a functioning kitchen, being a big refrigerator, a mini refrigerator, a microwave or a stove, and the rest of the house, you could take your time and do it the way you need to do it, as long as those key things are done.
Yep. As long as you got your furnace, hot water tank, and of course you got to set up your water meter. Uh,
Okay.
Now the only catch with this is that what they're dealing with right now is a lot of homes were on a demolition list, and the mayor Duggan took them off the demolition list and say, hey, if it's structurally sound, we're going to get it fixed. A lot of these properties, the Detroit water department cut the water service and didn't document it. So a lot of properties have an unforeseen cost of can range in between $6,000 to about $10,000 for a new water line. Which I have a video on my YouTube channel, which I bought an apartment building that actually had a cut water line that wasn't disclosed. So I believe I was after I had gave the water company some words of encouragement. I noticed the Detroit Land Bank changed, put a disclosure on there saying like, hey, we do not have knowledge of the condition of the water line, so kind of buy at your own risk, or if it is cut, this isn't going to be on you. So after 6 months of words of encouragement, we sat down and I think we prayed one time. I got a new water line. Water line installed. Thinking it was January 2021 when I got my new water line installed on my at my apartment building. Because since I have a bigger house, apartment building, I need a bigger line. So I think mine was a 1-inch line. I think the average person may have a 1/2 inch, so I have to have a 1-inch service line. So it was nice.
That's good. That's good. Now, so I don't mean to be invasive, but you put this information on Facebook, so I'm gonna repeat it. I'll let you tell us rather. So you purchased this 4-family flat unit, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That unit. How much did you purchase that unit for?
I got that building for $2,100.
Okay, you got a 4 unit building in the city of Detroit for $2,100. Okay.
Yes.
All right. And I know that you have made some progress on it. And here recently, you got an offer for how much was that offer to buy the house from an investor?
Yeah, it was 180,000.
Awesome.
That is. Was it an investor from the city or outside?
I have a
It was
question.
outside. So what the investor does is they pay. They have different companies that they can pay a virtual worker to cold call people. So that's where you get these. If you ever own a property or at any point in time, or even been associated with a property, they call you, say, "Hey, do you own this property?" Whatever. All these people do is just call, or text. So anytime I get a text like that, like I'm like, hey, well, if you don't have proof of funds, we don't have nothing to talk about. And a lot of people say I'm kind of rude, but at the end of the day, I know what you're doing. You're thinking like, hey, because I'm a Detroiter, we don't have that much money, and we're just geared to like, oh, you show me some money, I'm just gonna jump on it. And I was like, I got told the individual via text, and I put it on Facebook. I showed him. I said I said, hey, I think I was generous. I said 200,000. I wasn't gonna. I know he wasn't gonna accept the offer, throw the offer, and he told me like, oh, that's too much. That's over the value or whatnot. And I said, I just did 2 4-unit buildings. One wasn't done, sold for 250,000. The other one was done and sold for 265,000. You know what I'm saying? So I'm being generous. I got my unit is I have 1 functioning unit out of the 4 in it now. Because all the work I done myself. So then a week later, I get a text saying, "Hey, we'll offer you 180." Right. So because they told me they offered me 180, I know that they're not about to just make they're going to try to make more than a $50,000 to $60,000 profit. So my property may be worth maybe 300,000. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I gauge. Because if I'm an investor and I'm going to buy a property for 180,000, I need to be getting something back on every turn. So it might be an extra. I might be around 350, maybe to 400 on the value, of the property. Around, it got to be somewhere around there. So, but as I told him, I said, no, thank you. No, thank you. God bless you. I said, God bless you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Joanne had a question for you.
Go ahead.
I do. So the process, you said this 6 months, and within that 6 months, you have to. when you have to get those basics things done, right? That's
Correct.
not like right away. That's the 6 months they
That's
give
6
you.
months. Yes.
That's the 6 months just to get the basics. Then you can continue to, because I know with HUD houses, it used to be, they used to give you like 12 months, I think it was, to get it up to par or up to code.
Mhm.
But with this, and I know things change constantly, and that's been some years ago, but so it's 6 months. So really, and you're telling people, even though you might be able to buy the property inexpensively or at a good price, you need to have some funds
Yeah.
to work with
For the rehab.
for the rehab. At least that basic rehab. Well, I would just say for the rehab, like
Yeah,
that they
for
need
sure.
to have some funds to work with. So don't think that, okay, I'm getting this property for $5,000. Now I can sit on it until I get some money. There are things that you have to do within those first 6 months. So you need to have something to work with.
Yeah, for sure. When I actually, actually when I purchased my apartment building, I actually was tapped out of funds. But so if you're an individual like me, where I can do about 80% of all the work that's needs.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? 80% of all the work that needs to be done to the property. It's nothing to go to Home Depot, buy a window here, this check, install that window, that next check, so, and that's kind of how I've been doing. That's what Justin have watched me do, for I think when I started 2016. My first house, I actually moved into it without even a functioning bathroom. I didn't have a functioning bathroom, I had a functioning kitchen. All I had was Wi-Fi and electricity, and one bedroom, and I had a kerosene. You ever those cookie? I'm not the turkey cookers with the deep fryer. Yeah. So that was my heat, and because I moved in the wintertime. So I moved in. My lease was up in my apartment building. My wife was pregnant with our second child. I told my wife, I said, "Hey, we moving out this apartment. You're gonna go stay with your parents. I'm about to move into this house and fix it up." So of course my wife thought I lost my mind. She's like, she's like, she's like, yeah, you sniffing crack or what's going on? And then she's looking at the neighborhood. She's like, you about to go, you about to do this. Like, I'm like, this is what we're doing. I said, we were spending what, $700 a month. Is it six, 700? No, that was the BMW payment. No, we're paying $800 a month. So we basically investing $10,000 a year to make somebody else's dream become a reality. And that's what I had in my head. So I said, I don't like this. I don't like sitting here, because whoever's getting this money from me is sitting on the beach, shirt out, like just feet in the sand.
Hey.
But you know what I'm saying? I was like, it disturbed me. So I said, no, I'm gonna do this. I found a house and I purchased it, and I moved into it. I think I got one room. Me and my dad did the electricity, and after I got the electricity done, I got the cable in, and so I could have Wi-Fi there, because I was gonna put up cameras. And I had I had half the plumbing done, but I had the bathroom floor tiled, but I needed to get the toilet and all that type of stuff, right? So I had to thug it out for about 2 weeks. 2 weeks I had to thug it out. And mind you, this is like February, so it's cold outside. So I got an open flame in the bedroom. You know what I'm saying? So
but that's somebody with a vision. That's somebody with a purpose.
It was get it out the mud, like the true definition of that. So and I went to work, and I went to work every day, and I came and worked on my house. And as soon as I got the carpet in the bedroom, my wife decided to visit. Said, "Hey, I'm gonna come over and visit." I said, "Okay, I gotta be careful, because it's like, it's a work site. I got tools everywhere.
Work in progress."
Yeah. So her and my son came over, and they didn't leave. That was the problem. They didn't leave. So yeah. So all three of us, we were living out of one room, and that was like that for about I think about a month or whatever. And it took me a little time, because I never tiled the shower before, so it was my first time tiling the shower. So I had to learn that. So I took my time. I was getting cussed out every day, because I got to. So it's like when I finally got that shower tiled, it was, oh man, that was the best thing since sliced bread. You hear me? And after that, as time went on, I was like, hey, I was steady. This whole process, I was telling my wife, I said, hey, Detroit is going to be coming back. It's going to be a point where these houses are going to be going for hundreds of thousands of dollars. My wife told me I was crazy. I said it's going to happen, and it did. We looking at it now,
Yeah.
So I ended up selling my first house for I bought it for $1,000. I put about 5,000 into it, a little over 5,000, maybe 8,000 into it, and I sold it for $35,000. Now, and then I bought the house next door for 1,000. I think I put about 12 to 13 in, and I sold that one for like 25,000. I could have got more, but that's another story for another day. But
so let me ask you this. So that was 2016, 2017. So today with COVID and the surge and all these prices, if somebody buys one of those, complete renovation, what do you foresee the cost would be to get that a house? Not luxurious. We're not talking luxurious. We're talking about getting that hot water tank, that bathroom functioning, and all of that stuff in there, and ready. How much money do you think you need to go into a house? So if you got this, you good, you can do everything and make it work. I know it might be a little different because I know, like you said, you do 80% of the work. This person, will have to pay for that. So of course, we got to tack on a little extra for that. But what is that magic number for that person who says, you know what? There's a house next door to me. I want to get it started. I'm about to go ahead and create this fund, or I'm about to come up with this money. How much should they have to go into the house to completely renovate it?
I'm gonna tell you this. That's a great question. So the one thing I can say about us Detroiters, you know, we grind. When we put our money, our mind to something, we come up with that a dollar amount, whatever we got to do to get that dollar amount to get it. So I always say, when I go into before I purchase a property, I got to look at the roof and I got to look at the foundation. And you can get away with a semi messed up foundation or whatever, but if your roof is not good, you're gonna. And typically, majority of the houses need a new roof, right? So as regular single family home, you definitely got to have anywhere between. You find a good roofer. I got my buddy Lou. He definitely looks out. So if you need a roofer, let me know. But the way Lou he charged me my apartment building. If I go to a company, they'll charge me $20,000 to do a roof, right? Lou, because he's a single contractor, he'll charge me $7,000 to do a roof and do it right. So you always have somebody in Detroit that knows how to do something. You have to do your due diligence to find that right contractor. And then in this process, you're gonna find yourself like, hey, you're gonna charge me $2,000 to put this drywall up, and the drywalls, and I only need 10 sheets for this room, and the sheets only cost $10 a piece. You might find yourself learning how to do drywall. So when I say parts, parts for one of my properties that I had to pay, I spent $7,000 on parts. So that was out for the whole process of getting it done, getting it ready. So I just put in my own work. So I would say if you in your head, if you got like $20,000, I say you can get a house fixed up quickly. But think about how fast you can spend $20,000. So if you're investing, if you're a person that's staying with family or something like that, and you got a good paying job, so if around like $8,000 a month comes out to almost $10,000 a year, $800 a month? $800 a month comes up to about $10,000 for the whole year. The good thing about what the land bank is that if you're putting about $8,000, I keep saying 8,000. You're putting $800 into your property a month or whatever. The land bank is not going to take the property back from you if you're showing progress. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to work with you. So I'm not saying like, hey, to think you're going to go into a year, but I can say this I have 2 properties that's under compliance, and I have owned them over a year. You know what I'm saying? So, long as because you have unforeseen things, right? So, even though the goal is 6 months, but you may finish at 12 months, but long as you're talk to them every step of the way, you're good. So I can say that magic number, I would say, is $20,000, but don't think that you're going to spend that all at one time. You know, so that may be the process, the whole process. You know, a hot water tank costs $400, maybe $420. You know, and the equipment that you need to run a hot water tank, all the connections to run water pipes in a like a bungalow or whatever, like a 3-bedroom bungalow home, like may run you maybe $400. You know, you literally can buy the tools and learn and YouTube it. A lot of stuff my dad taught me when I was younger, and I had to take a refresher course on YouTube. You know, so I was always taught, hey, don't pay somebody to do something that you can learn. If the information is available and you can find it and you have to pay for it, then go get it. You know, and that's how this started. You know, so you know, if you go to my YouTube channel and you'll see a lot of things like, wait, hey, Calvin did this, Calvin did this. You know, I tore the whole front of the apartment building off. It was it had it was all wooden porch and everything like that. I tore all that stuff down. It's all cinder block and you know, poured the concrete with help from my godfather. But it was definitely a process. But I still had to do the legwork. I had to cut the beam slots in the building and whatnot like that. You can see that on my channel. And I show people like, hey, this is not all peaches and cream. We have good days, we have bad days. But the thing about it is, the goal after everything is done, Calvin has something I could pass on to my kids. You know, so I always look at it like net worth. You know, so that's what you have behind your name.
In case you're just listening or just tuning into the stream today, it's Talking To with Joanne Tosin Fuller, Justin Hearn, and yours truly, Rufus Bill. Our special guest today is Calvin McGhee, and he is putting his money where his mouth is. We hear so often in the city of Detroit to be a part of the renovation and bringing back Detroit and making it alive. And he has tapped into that consciousness by buying back the block. And Calvin is an entrepreneur, and he's purchasing houses and apartment building to make the city a better city, and also giving a legacy to his children. Calvin, now I had a question. Are there any actively foreclosed homes on this particular list with the land bank that people can be part of through a short sale? Does that exist with this program? Do you know?
No. So a lot of these properties have already been foreclosed on.
Okay.
Now they still have a regular auction that happens every year around like between like September and like October, where the tax sale, where you have the first sale for whatever the dollar amount the house foreclosed on. That's where the bid. I think it's Wayne County auction or whatever, and then I think they have a second auction where the property's supposed to be a $500 or whatever. But I haven't. Since the land bank started their buildingdetroit.org website, I have never been on there. My dad took advantage of that back in like 2009, where he purchased 2 apartment buildings and got them for $500.
Really?
So, yeah. So, you know, back then, you used to be able to just jump on there. All you needed was like $1,000 deposit or something like that, either $1,000 or $1,500 deposit, and you could enter the auction. Yep, it was $1,000. You could bid start after the first bid, after the first auction. If the property didn't sell for whatever it foreclosed on, then the next auction, everything was $500, and that's typically what people used to wait for. But then they started raising the requirements. Now you have to have like $2,500 deposit before you even bid, and that's only to bid on one property. So if you lost that bid, that's it. You're done for the auction, right? Or if you want to bid on multiple properties, you have to have $10,000 as a deposit to bid on multiple properties. Which that wasn't feasible for me. You know, see, I tell people when I got into this game, as far as buying houses, I wasn't coming in as a big fish. I was coming in as as a husband, with a wife and 2
goldfish.
Kids, you know, so I
can't goldfish.
Yeah, with teeth. With teeth. You know, I got the But I'll tell people like, hey, so going into the live auction, because you have two auctions, you have own it now, you have the live auction, which I always worked in the own it now because it's a blind bid. My chances are higher because you cannot see what I bid.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think personally, I feel like God blessed me to get the apartment building because, I was going up against three people, and I know they had bigger pockets than me. But at the same time, you don't want to pay more for a property if you didn't, if
If you don't have to,
right, if you don't have to, right? So,
yeah.
Right.
my magic number was 2,100, and I stuck with it, and Lord blessed me with that, because I told my wife, I said it's
Amen.
gonna pay off in the end, So I think I purchased a total of 14 properties from the city of Detroit. Now that's homes and lots.
Okay.
Total. I think I own a big piece of land over on the east side. I think it's almost an acre. I think with all the lots and everything. And, we're gonna sit on that, and eventually some land developer is gonna come by and say, hey, we want to build on this land. I said, no problem. I need 100,000 a piece, sir. I do apologize. I need 100,000. I got two kids to put through college.
Don't apologize.
Right.
Yeah.
I
That's,
know he's
it
not
is
going
what
to
it
get it. I
is.
know he's going to have to, fix his hair. I said, yeah, 100,000 a piece, or you going to or no development, So,
Yeah,
but
I think one of the interesting things is if we look at the state of the economy right now. I know, like you just mentioned, that your dad, back in 2009, the height of or the peak or the start of the recession, that he was able to get two apartment buildings for $500. Where we've seen the market go astronomical. I have houses in my neighborhood that are worth probably 200 to 220. They've has been sold for 270. You know what I mean? 265. So I know that, and with everything is going on, it seems like another recession is coming. And I know, in 2009, I was a sophomore in college, in high school or whatever. So I didn't have the wherewithal. But I know this time, if a recession comes and they plan buying some buildings or selling some buildings, I'm telling you, I'm doing everything I can to get me a jackpot. I tell you. So I just tell everybody, if a recession is coming, be ready. And that's the time where you buy your stock. That's the time where you buy your houses. Because sure as everything goes up, they come down, and sure as everything goes down, it
Yes.
goes back up.
Well, Calvin just gave us an inside number for those who were listening. He said, what was it, 1200? 1200 in the 4-digit day after, what is that, midday?
No,
And
you did not.
evening.
No, you did not.
So,
I'm sitting
for
here
the
listening all
saints,
intently, like, oh,
for the saints who listen carefully like that, this may be your lucky week.
oh man,
mercy, mercy. Oh, help
But
us, help us.
Jesus.
But Calvin, I have a question, and this is one of the. It may sound, I don't know how it will come across, but when you have to go in and you get the property and you have to clean the property first. I'm sure that a lot of you may have come across mattresses and bags of clothes and God knows
Whew, have
what's in
mercy, Jesus. The
that
smell.
property, the smell. Now, do you handle that, or do you outsource that, or how do you do that? Because that might be a deterring factor for a lot of people, especially when you say, well, you could do that yourself.
oh, I get down and dirty. I do apologize. Look, I get down. One time, I'm gonna tell you, in this apartment building, one time it was, I guess somebody peed in a bottle, and I guess they didn't put the top on right, and this probably been sitting for maybe what 5-6 years, maybe even 10
Oh,
years. I
have
don't know.
mercy, Jesus.
Good
One of
Lord.
and oh man, it cleared the whole. I said, oh, we stopped working that day, but we went back. Excuse me. We waited to clear it out, but it was something terrible. But yeah, we get in and get out. Sometimes I got a lot of little cousins that owe me a favor, so they
Oh,
definitely come around. I say, hey, you borrowed $20. Yeah. So
I calling in my markers. Come on, let's
Not-
go.
Right.
Hey,
Not
look,
the $20
look,
payback.
they get mad at me. They be upset because it's like, hey, cuz I'm a little short. I said, no problem. He say, man, they say you ain't right. You worse than a loan shark. I said, that's fine. That's fine. Look, I want you to be great. Don't worry. You ain't got to pay me back. I'm gonna get my money. You know. So, but yeah, all jokes aside, but yeah, a lot of the stuff, yeah, I do myself. But I try to, you know, a lot of with this apartment building. I actually was a lot of for the cleanup. It will actually use some gentlemen that I knew need some help or whatever, and you know, and I paid them to clear out because while I'm tearing up, they're cleaning up because it's really hard to try to redo something and you got to clean up as well behind. So I have to. So typically, I get help with cleanup, and that's typically family or close friends. You know, because you know everybody. You know, if I would have died today, everybody would tell you that Calvin would give you the clothes off my back. No, I actually would not give you the shirt off my back. I'm gonna go buy you a shirt because I need my shirt. I do apologize. I don't have the six pack anymore, but I'm gonna definitely buy you a shirt. So, but that's just what I do for, you know, people that I hold dear to my heart. So a lot of times, like, hey, I know somebody's struggling. I'm like, hey, I got some work. You know, you can do. You know, I don't really too much give out handouts. Like I always tell them, if I do give out something, like, hey, well, you can just work it off. You ain't got to pay it back because sometimes you may not have it to pay it back. You know,
Right.
but you can definitely, you know, sweep up or, you know, pick up some stuff. So that's typically how I've done with all the properties or even the lots or whatever. And we just went from there. And but yeah, I have definitely ran into a lot. I think the apartment building had dope needles, everything. We had to be real careful when we were cleaning out that property because there was a lot of needles everywhere. We had feces everywhere, and this stuff was just sitting, you know, because I actually had to I redid the whole plumbing in the wintertime. So I had to tear up the floor. I had to take out all the plumbing out the wall. And this is a 4-unit building, so I had to. It was a lot. It was a lot. In the cold, I had to do that. And mind you, I found my turkey based cooker that was heating up. I had to put plastic up over the wall around my work area in the basement to keep, you know, try to keep warm while I was working. I think that's on my YouTube channel as well. But in the process, once the weather breaks, everything that I tore up, I, you know, called my guys like, hey, I need this clean up, you know, and we just went from there, you know. But a lot of, like I tell you, once you get past the whole thing, oh, I can't do that. Like if you come in this way, I can't do that mentality, this is not for you, you know, because at the end of the day, you'll feel a lot better knowing that you did it yourself versus paying somebody to do it, you know, because you'll cherish it a little bit more versus just, well, hey, well, that ain't mine. I ain't got to worry about it, you know. But now this is mine. I put my heart in. So, like, my wife gets upset with me when she's like, "Hey, because we bought our dream house last year. I bought 3 properties. I bought 2 land bank properties, and I bought my dream house. I did that all within that first 6 months of the year, and on top of that, I had to gut this thing out myself, and you know, I still haven't painted the kitchen, so I'm getting cussed out now actively, you know. But it's gonna get there, you know. Hey, you know, I told her just pray about it. You know, she's fussing at me right now, actually. But the thing about it is, like I told her the other day, I said, but you understand what this kitchen used to look like and what it looks like now. You know, we got granite countertops, brand new cabinets, and everything like this. I just gotta, you know, do a little bit light sand and then paint and a little bit of trim, and then it's gonna. But after I did all that, it's like, hey, it works. You got everything brand new in there. I'm man, hey, you know, who gonna come over and say something? Like, cause you're gonna get out my house if you have to, you know. Like,
and if they do, go.
You know, just go ahead. You know,
Right.
But it's definitely a wonderful thing. I wanted to say this. So one of the reasons I got into this is whatever, because typically I don't, you know, I have a high school diploma. I didn't go, I tried, but it wasn't for me. Right. So I had to look at it like, well, what can I do? What can I do that I can put myself where I can start a business or some type of wealth or whatever. And I looked at the fact of the matter is that Detroit has all these properties for sale for dirt cheap. And like I said, owning land is power. Owning something, that's power, right? And that's that was my way of thinking. I said, well, hey, it may not be worth something now, but how many people that we talked to that was way older than us was like, yeah, I used to own that over there. I used to own that over there. I wish I would have still kept
Exactly.
it. And I thought about that when the younger me thought about that, right? And I was like, you know what? Hey, that's why I started buying stuff. I took instead of going out having a good time, taking a bunch of trips or whatever. When I had a lot of money, I said, hey, well, what can I buy now? What can I put behind the McGhee name? You know, the
Mhm.
goal is to I want to build a tiny house community. So I'm working on that right now.
Okay.
Invested into a company that builds
The
smaller.
tiny houses. Mhm.
Yep. So I got about 7,000 shares of this company, right? So
Awesome.
I'm waiting on them to and they're going. I may flip the apartment building and buy a bunch of their home, use the money and buy a bunch of
Mhm.
those homes because I got a lot of land, right? So, but I don't know. I'm praying about it to see what's
The best route.
the best route, given where the climate is right now. So
There you
Well, as
go.
Joanne said earlier, you have to have a vision and you have to see further than what is in front of you,
Right.
and that's with any type of venture that you get off into. Even if you do go to school, if you don't go to school, you have to have the foresight to see. And like you said, Calvin, this may not be for everyone,
Right.
especially having patience and being able to go in and do a rehab yourself and being able to comply, because it's very important that you comply with the rules and regulations of the land bank. And if you're
Yes.
not good and disciplined with deadlines and things of that nature, that could be another factor that this particular program is not good for you. Even if you you may have the money to just spend or to invest in the rehab program or the buyback program, if you don't have the consciousness of being disciplined and say, by this date, this is what I have to have, maybe this isn't a good program. But for those who can abide that and don't mind rolling up their sleeves and using that elbow grease and digging into it and seeing what the benefits could be from buying the very first property, this definitely
Yeah.
can put you on the map and put you in a whole different direction in your course of life and being able to improve and enhance your quality of life. Joanne?
Yes. I I'm just so proud and so happy to see a brother
Right.
with vision, insight, foresight, just and just on the path of doing something. To me, it's something great.
It is.
For something great for you, something great for your family, your future, your I am so proud because they still want to put us in this little box. But
Mhm.
I am just so proud of you. I am. And college, university is not for everyone.
No, it isn't.
And but look what you are doing, look what you are learning, look how you're taking care of your family, you're taking care of you. You're even taking care of, like you said, friends. You're not handing out, and that's teaching also.
Mhm.
You're teaching people. So I'm telling you, my brother, this is awesome.
It is
I
awesome.
am really, I am so proud of you.
thank you,
I
thank you.
really am. And I thank you for showing and that it can be done. Like all of you all said earlier, you just need to have some determination and a vision of
And
foresight.
vision.
So, bless you, bless you, bless you.
Thank you. I also wanted to say one thing. I forgot about this. I actually started a group on Facebook called Building Detroit Investors,
I
which
was
this
gonna
was
mention
actually
that.
yeah. I just totally forgot about that, right? And I actually started this group to help contractors and home buyers find each other, right? So I think as of right now we have like 2,000 members, over 2,000 members
Wow.
in the group right now. Um, and I also even so if you ever want to, so everybody wants to join the group today, I will waive the startup fee. which is I only charge $5, and that supports the YouTube channel, right? So everybody can get in free today. It's you just go to Facebook and type in the search bar Building Detroit Investors, and you can join the group for free today. And also for the investors out of town, I actually, do consultations with investors out of town through my Instagram page, which is called Hero Squad _PM. You can follow, my progress, what I'm doing, with with home renovations or whatnot. And a lot of investors out of town that want to talk to me, they can book an appointment through there if they want to talk to me one-on-one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I do a lot of things to help people. So I look at it like this: a lot of the information, everything is on YouTube, so that's free. But a lot of times, some people want to just talk to me. So like, hey, well, you
Of
have to book an
course.
appointment. So, but
And
a lot,
conversation is money.
yeah, right,
Yes, yes.
and I actually just started this. So right, I started this. I've been giving the information out free since I started in 2017. So I just started doing like taking any type of like donations or payments like really this year, really
Mm-hmm.
like like middle of last year, right? So a lot of stuff has been free for so long. So now it's like, hey, well, now the audience has gotten huge, right? So I don't have time to get to everybody. So now I just have people book appointments.
And you've created another stream of income
Right.
Yes.
for
Yeah. So
yourself,
for
which is
sure.
very important. And as you were talking, Justin, I was thinking, I said, he would be perfect for career day, especially in high school for seniors who are
Mm,
not really sure what they want to do, and college may not even be in their scope.
mhm,
And by those young minds still trying to develop, they don't really have a consciousness of what they could get into. But
mhm,
someone like you going in there and talking to them and explaining, well, this is a chance for you to make earn money or to start off. And as you say, they can work for you and work it off. And then you have created a whole another society and a whole different a way of thinking
Yes.
yeah,
for a young person to say, wow, he did that. I can do that because usually when you graduate, your purse might be at least maybe $2,500, $3,000 after your parents'
mhm,
friends give you
Right.
gifts and things like
Right.
that, and that can be a nice startup to be able to do something. And most parents are going to assist their children in productive activity.
Right. Right.
mhm,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
And
Almost like
also this can also take people because tradesmen, they're looking for tradesmen now. They're
mhm.
looking for electricians, plumbers, I mean, they're making good money. So yeah, college, university might not, but tradesmen, you that hands-on work is awesome. And I
It
tell
is.
anybody, go for it. You don't go do it. You never know what your niche might be,
Mhm.
but hey, try it. But tradesmen, I'm telling you, they're looking for masonry people, like I said, electricians, plumbers, carpenters.
Yeah.
They're looking for people. And to me, we as a people are so good with working with our hands.
Yes.
And I mean, we built this country.
Right.
Yeah. Facts.
We
Pyramids.
did. So guess what? Hey, let's get
mm,
back to building our own country, building our own.
Mhm.
And when I say that, I
Our
mean our
world.
own lives, our
Mhm.
own. Let's get back to that.
yeah,
Yes.
Justin,
yeah.
in closing.
Um, so just want to say thank you, man. I appreciate you for taking the time out your busy schedule. I know you probably would have been sleeping by now before you
Absolutely.
go into work. So I thank you for that. Definitely give your wife and the boys my love. We got to get together soon. I know we've been saying it, but we gotta get the families together. So
Yes.
let's do that.
Yeah.
But I just want to encourage anybody out here that Calvin is born and raised in the city of Detroit. And anybody that wants to you know buy houses and sell them and do stuff, it's possible. It's possible.
Yes.
And take advantage of all the resources that he's offering. The YouTube channel, the contractor site. Hey, where you can go find take advantage of all those resources and literally buy back the block. Because if you don't, somebody else will. Somebody else will. And the best way to take hold of our communities is becoming the property owners, because when you become the property owner, you have more control, you have more say in everything. And I want to just touch back on this point that you made, that you said. I think you skipped over. Well, you didn't skip over, but you said that you were in an apartment building and you were paying like $800 a month, and you basically took that income, bought you a house, and you put that $800 that you would have been paying in rent anyway into
Mhm.
your own property, into your own
Amen.
building. And I think that that's so key. And a lot of us, for some reason, we think that we can't. We think we can't afford it. We can't afford it. We can't do this. And it's like, okay, you might be a little uncomfortable, but you can afford it because you're
Mhm.
paying, I mean, $800 rent that's probably unheard of unless you in a
Mhm.
slum somewhere. Now, most places are
Right.
even,
That's right.
greater than that, unless you're receiving some assistance. So, it might take, swallowing that pill and going back home or living with
Mhm.
somebody. But if you want to work the vision, you got to work it. So just be
Yes.
encouraged, and let's buy back the block, because when we own property, we have power.
Definitely.
Amen. Amen.
Well, Calvin, thank you once again for being our very special guest. You're very informative, and I know when people may go back and look at this, the the stream at a later date, they will say, "Wow, this is something that I can do," and
Yes.
then that's what people have to learn, is there's something for everyone, and this is just for you. So once again, thank you for taking the time. Calvin, you have a great week,
Thank
and
you.
on behalf of Talking To, give our regards to you, to your family, and to your children. Tell Mother McGhee that I said hello.
I will. I will. I will. I'm surprised my 4-year-old didn't bust in. I tried to hide away, so we're doing pretty good because he would have been all in the camera and everything. So I'm happy now. So, and I did not know this was live stream. I thought it was just us in here. I'm seeing some stuff. Y'all got me out here. I'm glad y'all ain't tell me this was everybody can see this. I thought it was just us four. Y'all got just we got a conversation. Now you ain't say I would put my suit on, my good suit.
You look good. You look good. You look good.
You look great.
Oh man, we gonna have words, young man.
Get him, Calvin.
I'm like, what is these dings coming up? I say, wait, hold this on Facebook. Jesus Christ. Oh man. All right. All right. Thank you. I
Well,
thank you guys for having me.
not a problem. And continue the great work that you're doing to improving the lives of not only yourself, but for future homeowners and investors.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Joanne and Justin, great
Yes.
show today.
Great show.
Excellent show. Excellent show.
Great show. So
Yeah.
much
And
good
it
information.
right. It's just important that we able to do what we say we do when we say three perspectives and giving information out. That's going to really help us because we're learning as well, but help others that are listening and tuning in. This can change the lives of people everywhere, and this is an
Yes.
Yeah.
honor that we have this platform to be able to do this and to improve the quality of life. So I know everybody is ready. Joanne, you've been up working since early this morning.
That's
Justin,
how.
you had a full day
Yes.
too. And
Yeah.
I feel like I have not done enough. After hearing all that you all have done, and maybe I'll go outside and
Get
at
them
least
flowers in that
get those
ground.
flowers. Maybe do one pot, Joanne. So until next week, everyone have a great week. And
Yes, you too. Peace.
all right.